Well, in this four-part series of procurement versus contracts, I would highlight everyone the difference between procurement and contract. Uh, to start, very simple thing. Your appointment letter is like a contract to you, which is given by the company. Your appointment letter is a contract agreement which you agree on the terms and conditions on which the company has hired you. So, in the four-part series, this is the first series. You may please carry on with your notes if you want, because these things are not repeated, not found anywhere, and it's a free to approach. First of all, uh, the kinds of things which are explained. Just a minute, please. Yes, जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी, कहाँ पे हैं? हाँ जी, ये CMS विशाल खंड गेट नंबर 1 पे आप आ जाइए, मुझे कॉल कर लीजिएगा। हाँ, इस वक्त कहाँ पे हो आप? अच्छा, ठीक है। 15-20 मिनट बाद मुझे कॉल करें, 15 मिनट का मेरा वीडियो कॉल चल रहा है, तो 15 मिनट बाद ही कॉल, ये फ़ोन पे कॉल करिएगा। ठीक है, ठीक। I am so sorry for the disturbance made. Well, these things, as I told you, are free of cost, so I apologize for the disturbance as well. Well, to be very straight, I was through your appointment letter. Your appointment letter is a contract. Uh, then again, what happens if the terms and conditions which are laid down on your appointment letter are not followed by you? This means there will be a breach of contract. So it is called a breach of contract once your appointment letter is not taken into the things which are meet by both the parties are not taken into consideration. Then it is called a breach of contract. To be very precise, what is procurement? Well, you can say a procurement process is a purchase of things in which people purchase things, acquire good or services. Say it's a labor or a daily work, you pay him a certain amount for doing a particular task. You procure the service. There is no legal bonding between the services. These are given by a labor or a technician for a particular amount of time. You are purchasing the services. So it is a procurement, like even a freelancer. You're procuring the freelancer for a particular period of time and you're paying the certain amount to him. So it is called a procurement. I hope it is things are clear to people who are working and those who are not working. Uh, this is a difference between procurement. Procurement means you're paying for the goods or the services which are not in a legal form of contract. Then again, procurement is a process of acquiring goods and services from the external suppliers. It involves identifying the needs for a product or a service, selecting the supplier, negotiating on the terms, and managing the delivery of the product or the service. So this is the whole process of procurement in which you have to manage the things. Then contracts are legal binding agreements between two or more parties. They outline the terms and conditions of a relationship, such as price, quantity, and quality of goods or services which are to be provided. Then I think it is very clear to everybody now that difference between procurement and a contract. Okay, thank you. Now, procurement is much broader process than contracting. It encompasses all the activities involved in acquiring goods and services like a supply chain management, from identifying the needs of a managing to the delivery. So if you broadline the procurement process, first you have to make a RFQ, request for quotation, then you have to float the quotation, then you have to make that quotation for the bid, obtain those quotations, streamline those quotations, and then make the contracts agreement between the party. So this is a process of procurement, and it in terms of goods, like some certain times when goods are to be supplied, then there is a supply chain, means it involves logistics as well, it involves transportation as well, and the procurement process makes a supply chain that on a certain terms and conditions which are to be obtained, say a goods from the supplier, then you have to make a particular supply chain in which everything, every process, or each and every aspect of acquiring that particular good is streamlined. This is called a chain, which is called a supply chain. Okay, this is clear that the supply chain and procurement go together. Then contracts are legal binding agreements between two or more parties. They outline the terms and conditions of a business relationship, such as price, quantity, quality. Means these things are highlighted. Say price on which contract has been made, and the quality on which you have to perform, or quality of the particular good, say a particular amount of silver or gold or even a diamond, that a particular amount of uh, the quality of that particular good is to be obtained, or even a particular amount of a fruit, say a banana or even a mango, has to be procured. So you have to make a particular contract, that particular subset, that it bears the particular quantity, it bears the particular quality, and these things are followed by each and everybody who are involved in that contract. It is clear? Thank you. Then again, what are the process of procurement? Procurement is much broader as a process than contracting. It encompasses all the activities involved in acquiring goods and servicing for managing to the delivery. Contract is just one step in the procurement process. Procurement process is a broad set of the contract. Then in contract again, there may be a subcontractor agreement, there may be a another party agreement, inspection agreement, a particular kinds of agreement which are there in the contract, which is a legal binding. Contracting is a legal binding. The both parties or the number of parties have agreed to finish that particular good or services on the given set of conditions. Then another important difference between procurement and contract is procurement is focused on building relationship with the suppliers. Like if you are good in payment terms to your suppliers, the supplier may give you discounts, that okay, certain uh, types of services like certain plumbers or even certain technicians, which are called again and again in the procurement process. This is for the services. So these are then they are called again and again in the procurement process. They are reducing their risk because they are getting continuous payments. So their risk is reduced and they favor you by lowering down their prices, or sometimes making uh, benefit to you. So the process of procurement is like building a chain relationship in which the benefit is to everybody, and a supply chain is made in the procurement process. A chain is made which is entangled from the process of making quotations, making the order, then making this, you can say, logistics, performing the services. Each and everything is the part of the procurement process. Even the making of a contract in the long terms, if you see the in the contracts, if a long term contract is made, then the uh, contracting is told to take place. Contract is a subset of procurement process in certain times, but in certain areas like in construction industry, in many more industries, the contracting uh, starts with the start of relationship. Even a contracts job, say you are hired for a period of say 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, then it is the starting of building a relationship. It is not a procurement process, but contracts on the whole, if you take that a whole is a subset, then it makes a procurement process altogether. Then the another difference between procurement contracts is procurement is focused on building relationship with the suppliers, while contracting is focused on managing the risk. In contracts, you are given certain parameters and certain conditions in which your risk becomes low, like somebody is taking into account of a particular set of contract. I called it ACCM, which is a UK based contract, NCP, which is another European contract, FIDIC is another broad line set of contract in which the international engineering terms comes into place, and these particular set of conditions or the bondings are guided by managing the risk and the terminology which is defined in that particular set. Now, procurement professionals want to develop long-term partnerships. Those who are procuring, they do not want to break the chain. Say there are two types of jobs. One is a full-time job and another is a contract job. Then full-time job, you can have it for a person for say 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, even a period of say 40 or 50 years. Then that particular set, you are defined that it is a long-term partnership relation between you and your peers or your colleagues. The terminology goes for a longer period of time. You are a employee who has to perform for a period of a certain duration, 5 years, 6 years. So that is a procurement process in which you are giving a long-term appointment letter. Similarly, you are giving certain work order, or you are giving a particular purchase of goods order. That order is for the purchase of any service or goods, and that is a procurement process. Then contracting professionals are different. They have to complete a particular subset, and they want to ensure that in terms and the period of the contract which are there are fair and enforceable. Like say you have to bring your laptop to a particular company every day, your personal laptop to a particular company every day. That is a contract. It is written in the contract that the laptop will be yours and you will be doing the services by your own laptop, given which is not provided by the company. So it is written, it is a term of contract which is written in your service or the appointment letter. Now, then again, both procurement and contracts are essential to success of any business. Procurement professionals help businesses save money and get the goods and services they need to operate efficiently. Procurement professionals are those professionals, those who purchase the things from others. Even a HR or a human resources is a procurement professional because he or she is buying the services from you, your services or the goods which they are procuring is a procurement professional. Now, procurement professional help business to save money in certain areas. How does the HR save money? This is the question. So, HR or human resources makes a certain conditions or even a salary or even penalties are there, which are highlighted that these conditions and which may be of due importance will be uh, done once you are not performing or not doing well. So, and even during the hiring period, they take into account that the person is going for a long term, that the person is not leaving the job for a now. Procurement and contracts are success to any business because without a procurement personnel being involved, how can any organization, leave alone the freelancers or the single operated companies, how can any other organization become a wealthy or a organization of importance? Now, there, I'll give you some examples how procurement and the contracts are used in the real world. A manufacturing might use procurement to acquire materials it is needed to produce its products. A retail company might use procurement to acquire products it sells and it is in stores. You understand? Like you go in the mall and on a certain conditions, after say 3 months, the goods are not selling, they can put on 10-20% discount so that the good at least sells or that particular material sells. Now, a government agency might use procurement to acquire the goods and services it needs to provide services to its citizens. A government agency can use the procurement. There are government portals which you file tenders, and even the businesses they use this to acquire the goods and services it needs to provide services to its in a greater amounts. Let's say like a space station or say there is a space shuttle or a rocket which has to be built for giving a robot to the moon. So the government floats tenders, it acquires those things that okay, this is the parameter number one in which I am acquiring the robot, this is the para number two in which I am acquiring the rocket, this is the para number three in which I am or the government entity is flown the tender to acquire the fuels. So these things are provide services to its citizen because these things benefit the citizen for the particular area which they are. Then again, a construction company might use contracts to hire subcontractors and supply work to a project. It is a very simple thing. As say a bridge has to be constructed, and the bridge has, which is say 1 kilometer long, can be divided into 100 meters each. Now, there will be a subcontractors, there will be a one main contractor under which there will be 10 subcontractors and they have to make work together to perform that bridge to complete on a particular date. So that particular date has to be managed or that project has to be managed on a particular date and that thing has to be completed on a particular date. So the construction company uses these contracts to hire subcontractors and suppliers to work on a project. A software company also may use these contracts as license to software. A contract is prepared by any software company that in certain conditions these softwares are to be used and it should not is a non-disclosure agreement which should not be uh, done that the software and the things which are inputted should not go to any other person. So this is how the software company also performs. Then what are the types of contracts? Then this is a question. I think I will take that in the next session, but I'll give you a brief idea with what are the types of contracts and what are the types of procurement. See, in general, I'm not talking about a broad land. I'm not giving you a broader scope, but in general, there are three types of contracts. First is fixed price contracts, then is cost plus contracts, Then is time and materials contracts. In general, fixed price contracts, these are contracts which are specified for a fixed price for the goods or services to be provided. Fixed price means that you cannot change the price of the goods. It is like your appointment letter. Then is a cost plus contracts. These contracts reimburse the sellers for all their cost plus a profit margin. Because without a reimbursement, you got your appointment letter in which say your salary is $2,000, but in general you spend $2,000 on your to and fro or transportation or including your daily maintenance allowance. So there is nothing left for you. What are you getting? You are getting nothing. A salary is to survive for you for the rest of your life and to make your livelihood happen. So this is our cost plus contracts. These contract reimbursement of the seller for all of their costs plus a profit margin. Certain things are parameters are taken into account while doing these contracts because no one, even a company which is good in dealing things, go into a loss. So then there is the time and material contracts. These contracts pay the seller for the time and materials, both the things. They are spending their time, they are spending their materials, and which are done on the particular project. Say there is a project in which the time and material has been done by a particular person or a particular contractor. Yes, contractor is a general term we use. So these are time and material contracts. So there are many types of procurement as well. One is a direct procurement. This is the most common type of procurement which involves buying that good directly from the supplier. Then there is indirect procurement. This type of procurement involves buying goods or services from an intermediary. Say you become a distributor and the goods are supplier to via a wholesaler or a intermediary. Very simple thing, like you are taking your car from your dealer, so the dealer is the indirect procurement. It is clear? I think it's clear to everyone. Now, strategic procurement is also there. This is the type of procurement which involves developing and managing long-term relationship. Strategic procurement is like supply of essential items. Say there is gold which has to be embedded in your laptop or desktop or your computer, which is to be supplied regularly. So there are certain procurement terms in which we make a due investment to the person who may supply us these things, and this is called a strategic procurement. This type of procurement involves developing and managing long-term relationships. Means usually these strategic procurement take place with the long-term involvement of the supplier. Strategic procurement also use key goods or services which are essential to the success of the business. Say you hire a trainer for a longer period of time, which is a strategic procurement. And that trainer takes into account via your HR, human resources person, that this particular software, this example is for a software company. Say this particular software has to be made under these circumstances, and this person needs to be trained regularly. So this is a strategic procurement. See, the type of procurement that is used will depend on a number of factors such as types of goods and services and the volume of goods or services which are being procured and the buyer's budget. Budgeting is the primary thing with any contract or procurement. Any company before purchasing always has a set standard of budget, that this budget has to be maintained by us while procurement and by before doing any services agreement or contractual agreement, these things are to be understood by us. Now, uh, well, I'll give you an example in which procurement and contracts can be used together. See, a construction company might use a fixed price contract with a subcontractor to build a new office building. I hope it's fairly understood that the new office, all the materials and goods are to be supplied. Okay, so it is a contract. Okay, with the contractor itself. A retail company might use a cost plus contract with a supplier to manufacture its product. Like they will be given that if these particular demand is met, a production demand is met, then they will give given a bonus to the manufacturer of the product. The demand of the product is high, say even a flour. Flour means the chapati or the bread you eat. Its demand is high, so that has to be met by the particular agency, and they will give a cost plus contract that if they are performing and giving the high quality and high quantity, meeting the quantity and giving a high quality. It goes like this: they're meeting the quality parameters and giving the high quantity. Now, a government agency might use material contracts with a consultant to provide IT services. That time and material in a certain period of time, these particular software or these things are to be put with a consultant. Say a consultant is providing services to a logistic firm in which the logistic parameters and the contractual terms have to be made, and it's a very broad understanding, but they are providing each and everything, and these things are to be met. Then these Okay, I explain. Say, construction company is uh, a consultant is hired by a logistic company, and that logistic company wants good contracts with a number of companies. So it has given the consultant a particular set of time that, say, under 1 month, you give us four companies and make a contractual agreement with them. So that consultant goes to those four companies and makes contractual agreement for the logistic company that these volume of goods or the services will be given to the logistics companies, and that amount of goods should be regular, the payment should be regular, and the things should be streamlined so that that logistics company makes good agreements and performs well and develop long-term relationship with its goods provider or the manufacturers or whatever the dealer they are. Got this? Okay, thank you. A manufacturing company might use a strategic procurement to develop long-term relationship for a key supplier of raw materials. I have explained this again and again. Then the choice of contracts and procurement is a type important decision that can impact the success of a project and a business. If you are hiring a wrong person, say you hired a civil engineer for a construction of a railway project, that railway project is 100% going to be have less safety, accidents will be there, and the railway line will also be not safe. If you have hired, say, a particular person, say a drama queen, for doing the software development, it is there may are chances that the software development will be less than and the drama will be more. You will be sharing the drama daily on a daily basis. There will be excuses, there will be fever, there will be leave requests, there will be everything from the drama queen, and your software may or may not get completed. Okay, thank you. And this was part one done by me. And This is the end of the day today. We will soon meet for part 2. Till then, enjoy.